Alrighty, howdy gun people out there. We're talking about a little bit more on fight or flight, panic, and what's called the color zones. I'm going to show this little video here, and we're going to talk about color zones. But this video is a classic example of fight or flight, what happens instinctively, and when the mind isn't prepared for something, there goes through this confusion, this thought process, I talk about this lag time. When you have to make a decision, lag time is increased by a number of factors, and some of those factors are the number of options you have, whether you have a preconceived idea or plan, whether you have a few options that you have run through your mind and come up with a formulation on how things are going to end up or what's going to happen next if this happens. So pre-planning and mindset is key when you're carrying a gun, you're training it with guns, you're handling guns, or you're involved in a life or death situation, some sort of high-risk situation. So we're going to show this video real quick here, and then I'm going to talk about a few things, and then I'm going to talk about the different zones and how it comes into play. So, we have this guy here, and he's going to set up a little thing, and this is on YouTube. This isn't, I'm not claiming copyrights here. This is for educational purposes, not for profit. This guy is going to set up his girlfriend and make her think that she's being robbed. So he puts his mask on, he hides in a room, and these three girls come back from shopping. Now there's different color zones that people go into, and there's different times that we're in different color zones. And these zones are just a reference. They're not absolute. Some people will say they're a little bit different. But the zones aren't absolute. However, it does give you an idea kind of like on where your mind is at. If you notice cops, next time you go in a restaurant and you see cops, they'll always be sitting at the back of the room, farthest away. Usually one or more will be facing the doorway or the cash register. That is a survival planning technique for a couple reasons. One, cops don't like to be harassed. We're eating, we get harassed and asked stupid questions all the time. We're out driving around, we're like robo mold maps, where this is at. Hey, I got a question. Hey, my kid got an F in school and I don't like the teacher. Can I get her arrested? Stupid shit like that is we always get asked when we're out just doing our job. If somebody knows you're a cop, they're going to come over and ask you some legal question, want some legal advice. So that's one reason we try to hide in the back of the room. But the more survival reason that cops always sit, because when cops are off duty, we still sit in the back of the room. We always got to be facing the door or facing the cash register. And the reason why we do that is we want to make sure if the place gets robbed, that we've got our back to the wall so nobody's behind us. We can see the entry point, that fatal funnel we talked about, where the bad guys are coming from and probably where they're going to escape. So now we have a good backdrop. We're in the back of the room and we can probably get the drop on them if they rob the store while we're sitting in there trying to eat our code. We call it code. Code 7 is eating. I don't know what other agencies call it. In California, code 7 is going to eat. So if you're saying, let's go to code or let's eat code or let's, can we meet for code? That means let's meet to eat. So that's when, if you hear me say code sometimes, that's what I'm talking about. Code 1, code 2, code 3 is when you're responding. Those are response. That's something else. But code 7 or going to code is eating. So when cops go to code, whether we're off duty or on duty, we always sit, and it drives the women in our lives crazy because they're like, why do you want to sit all the way over here? Why do you want to sit in the back? Why can't we sit here? I don't like it back here. It's right in the back corner. It's dark. Yeah, I know. I get it. And women who are with cops or been around cops, they know it can be a pain sometimes. But it's a survival mechanism. We're setting up a plan of action. We're not in our white zone. When cops are in public, we're never in our white zone. Let's go over the zones real quick. The zones are white is when we're familiar, safe, and comfortable. We have no perceived threat. We have no reason whatsoever to think that we're in danger. So our guard is down. We're very relaxed. We're ourselves. We're not looking for danger. We're not suspecting danger. And we have really no plan to deal with danger. When these girls walk in this house, they are in their white zone. So let's look at this white zone here so you can really see it in action. These girls come home, they're not expecting danger, they have no plan, they have nothing, so they are in their white zone. Hey, stupid computer, start when I press the button.
I snuck into my girlfriend's apartment, waiting for her and her sister to come back home from work. It's about 5:30 now. So once they get back here, I'm going to be wearing this mask, and I'm going to be carrying their TV and their laptop in my hand, acting like I'm robbing the place. So we'll see how it goes.
I think this is funny and hilarious, by the way. Some people think it's mean. Okay, this is what's called the white zone. They're comfortable. They're in a place that they perceive is safe. They have no plan. In a minute, you're going to see them go into what we call the black or panic zone. And I'll explain how they get there in a minute. But you're going to see them go into this black panic, no plan, no formulation. They immediately shift to fight or flight. One of them starts jumping up and down. I have no clue how that helps the situation at all, but she does. She jumps up and down. They all kind of squat into this fetal position. They go into that fight or flight, this panic mode. The girl in the back of the door immediately, her plan is to get the hell out. She doesn't look, she doesn't think, she doesn't do anything. She turns around, grabs that freaking door, opens it, and tries to get the hell out of here. The girl in the front kind of jumps up and down, hoping that somebody won't hurt them and panic. The other girl spins around and kind of panics and runs into each other. They all three fight to get out this door. When they are fighting to get out this door, they are in fight or flight, and they ain't fighting, they're running. And they're trying to get the hell out of there. Even though there really wasn't a big threat, nobody came at them with a knife or gun, they were surprised, they had no plan, they weren't ready, they were in their white zone. And a white zone isn't necessarily bad, but cops have a hard time going to the white zone because we don't trust anybody, we don't believe anybody, we always think somebody's up to something even when they're not, and we're always ready for something to go wrong because we've been there, done that, and it sucks to get caught with your pants down. These girls are caught with their pants down. So let's watch them go from their white comfort, no problem zone to immediately black panic zone. This guy's my kind of guy. I think that's funny as shit. Now look, they didn't continue to run. They stopped at a point of safety and huddled. Now, call me stupid, but if I'm running out the door and a guy can chase me, I'm not stopping at the end of the stairwell. Why did they stop? Now, my theory is I think one of them heard the guy calling and they recognized the voice and it made them pause for a second. They kind of grabbed their senses and went, wait a minute, that's a familiar voice, what's going on? And it kind of brought them out of that panic zone into a more thinking zone. And they stopped. Now, I'm thinking that's what happened. If that's not what happened, I'm not sure why they stopped. But this was an excellent example of fight or flight in your white zone, not being prepared, and all of a sudden shit hits a fan and something goes wrong and you have to act. And when you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. When you don't have options, already preconceived options, where's my escape path? What am I going to do? What's going to happen? Where's the door? One girl tried, if you notice, the second girl out kind of tried to run through the door. She kind of tried to push the door the other way. She was pulling the door toward her, trying to go forward, and that just doesn't work. And the other girl was kind of like trapped and panicked, and she just jumped up and down a couple times, and then finally she got out the door. We're going to watch it one more time real quick. I'll put a link I'll put a link to this in the description so you can go watch the whole video and watch it. This was on The World's Dumbest, and they were cracking on this guy for being mean to his girlfriend. But to me, this is a great training aid to really test what fight or flight is all about and what happens when you don't have a plan. White zone, coming home, comfortable, nothing's going to happen. You shouldn't be in your white zone if you're carrying a gun. Door is shut. Watch this girl immediately go for this door. Drops her purse and bails. She don't... That girl in the back's on it. Her plan was to get the hell out. She paused to help her friends after she felt she was in safety. I'm sorry, I just think that's freaking classical. So, let me get this down here, and I'll move around here and kind of yap at you for a minute on what fight or flight is. Alright, so we talked about our zones here and what kind of zones that we can be in. So, I'm on my way to Home Depot here, but I decided to make this a quick video. So, white zone, comfortable. Black zone, panic, no plan. What's in between these zones? Well, there's different levels, and if you talk to different tactics guys and different teachers of stress, some will say there's white, yellow, red, black. Others will say white, yellow, orange, red, black. The goal is not to get to black. The goal is not to be where these girls are at. Okay, that's not the goal. We don't want that, okay? So, if we don't want to get to black, how do we stop from going to black? We don't spend too much time in white zone. Cops don't want to go to black because we know we get shot. We see cops getting killed. We see people getting killed. We don't ever want to get to black. So that's why we're always in the middle and you don't see us in our white zone. Right now, I'm semi in my white zone. Kind of comfortable. I'm in my house. My windows are open. I can kind of see. I'm not 100% in my white zone because if I hear somebody shoot a gun, if somebody's out there hunting, or I hear my horses start running, or I see a cat or an animal run by my door, I immediately switch out of my white zone, even though I'm not really there, and I go into my yellow, orange, or red zone. Yellow is a state of awareness. Your yellow zone is, if you put a gun on your hip, you should be in your yellow zone. You shouldn't be in your white zone. So if I'm in my yellow zone with a gun on, that means I'm always understand my mindset is I may have to use this. I may have to defend myself. I may have to shoot somebody. I may have to stop somebody from taking my gun. So that level of preparedness gets you out of your white zone to where your consciousness is just a little bit more aware. I don't think animals in the wild rarely go to their white zone. My horses, when they sleep standing up. They sleep not very much, and they sleep much better if another horse is standing over them as a warning tool. You'll never see a whole herd of horses where every horse lays down because they just don't go in that white zone because they know they are constantly in their yellow or orange zone saying, I know I can be eaten at any time and I have to look for danger. So, as a human, if you're carrying a gun, you want to be out of that white zone and not be in that white zone. You don't want to be lollygagging. You don't want to be walking into a store that could get robbed like you're walking into your house and you're comfortable and you're going to relax. That sets you up to be stuck in this black zone. You don't want to be in a black panic. White, super relaxed, no threat, no worries. You're laying down on a beach, getting a massage, having a drink, and things are good. White zone. Black zone. Oh shit, I didn't have a plan. Panic, I'm in fight or flight. I have no idea what to do. Long lag time. Decision. You saw those girls jumping and moving? That was lag time. They didn't have a plan. They didn't realize that somebody was in a house. They didn't open the door of their house and see that maybe the TV was moved from the living room to the bedroom. They didn't have that awareness, kind of like, what's different about this house? The little hairs on the back of your neck stand up sometime when you walk down a dark alley, you walk in a store, you walk somewhere and something doesn't seem right. That's good. But that means you're not in your white zone. And if you were in your white zone, when those hairs stand up, you unconsciously move to orange, yellow, or red zone. Now, to go through the straight zone, again, there's many options. I'm just telling you kind of my belief, and you can get the concept of it. White, relaxed. Yellow, more alert, aware, understanding I'm not completely safe. I'm not in a secure, safe environment. Something could happen. Orange or red zone. I absolutely know there's a perceived threat. I know somebody calls you and says, I just saw somebody climb through your window. You're going to be in your red zone. You know somebody might be in your house. You're going to be thinking, I got to call 911. I got to grab my gun. You're going to immediately move to that red, which is kind of your action zone. That red zone is where I'm in an oh shit situation, I'm acting. Now, some people will say the orange zone is getting ready to action and formulating that plan. So when you go to the red zone is actually doing something. So let's go through the zone. I'm in a restaurant. I'm sitting down. I'm in my white zone having a cup of coffee. A guy walks in the summertime with a ski mask. I should be moving to my yellow or orange zone saying, that's odd. That's strange. Why would he have a ski mask on? I wonder if he's going to rob a place. Maybe he's got a cold. Maybe he forgot to take it off. Maybe he just came back from hunting. I don't know, but that's odd and strange. I need to start preparing a plan. I need to start reacting and thinking and putting and formulating a plan of action in case this guy is robbing a place. Now, he may get in, pull it off, go, woo, man, I'm delivering beer and I've been in that damn beer truck, I'm freezing. Well, okay, that would explain it. At that point, I may go back down to my yellow zone. A little alert, but more relaxed. If he comes in and then yells, who the hell's in charge here? Oh, that's a clue. We call that a clue. My zone's going to go up. I need to start planning. There's going to be a problem here. Why is this guy screaming? He's upset. There could be a fight. Somebody could pull a knife. Somebody could pull a gun. Do I need to leave? Where's my escape path? Do I need to formulate a plan? Is this the only way out? Do I have to go past this guy to get out this door? If I do, should I start moving closer? Do I need to start timing it? Is there a place I can hide? Is there a place I can barricade in case shots are fired? Where can I get down? Is there a table? Is there a bench? All these plans start formulating now and I'm running through. Why? Because I don't want to get to this black zone. If I'm not prepared to act, if I don't have plans in place, I go to the back or panic and then I become a victim. I can't defend myself. I'm not reacting. If I don't have anything and I don't have a gun, I'm sitting here. You know what? These two people are fighting over here. These two bikers just came in. They're arguing. They may come over here and one of them might throw the other one on me. I've got to be ready to move. I don't have a gun on me. I didn't bring my gun today. Shit. You know what? I got silverware. Maybe I'm going to hold a fork in one hand and a knife in another like I'm cutting, and I'm just going to sit there nonchalantly. Going to your yellow, red, or orange zone, or yellow, orange, or red zone, does not mean that you have to draw attention and you're threatening, etc. Now, as a cop, I get called to domestic violence. Obviously, I shouldn't be in my white zone. I shouldn't be. That's why when I hear people in the news media go, oh, it was a routine traffic stop. Well, if it was routine, that's why the cop got killed. When you pull somebody over, you're in that yellow-orange zone. You're looking for danger. I'm formulating plan. If somebody jumps out of the trunk, when I approach a car, I always check the trunk. They taught me this years ago. I still do it. When you walk by a trunk of the car, I push it or pull it to make sure it's shut. Because if somebody's laying in the trunk and they're going to jump out and they're going to ambush, I want to make sure they're not coming out of the trunk. If somebody's moving around the trunk, I want to feel. When I put my hand on that car, I can feel if people are moving around, if it's dark inside and I can't see. A lot of benefits to touching a trunk when you walk up. But when a cop's approaching a car, he's not in his white zone. He should be in his orange or red zone, ready to react, having a plan, having things that can happen. What am I going to do? Where's my gun? That's why when cops walk up, they put their hand on their gun. Why? Because that's a step that I don't want to have to think about or do if shit goes bad. I want my hand on the gun. It's going. I've been to many calls that I knew shit was going to hit the fan. My gun was out before I got out of the car. It was under my leg. I was holding my hand. If I was driving, it was in this hand. I was driving, stopping, and putting in case I had to come out shooting. When I got out of the car, my gun was in my hand. If I was a passenger, my gun would be out, my hand would be across the door, and I'd be holding it underneath my leg, so when I got out, my gun was ready. Depending on the call and how I evaluated what was going on and the risk assessment that I do mentally, I decide what my plan of action is. I try to decrease the lag time from formulating an opinion. When you see something in the middle of the road and you're driving, you have options. You can slam on the brakes, get rear-ended. You can, before you slam on the brakes, look in your rearview mirror to make sure you're not going to be rear-ended. You can swerve. Before you swerve, you need to make sure there's not a car there so you don't run into it. You want to make sure there's not a ditch or an edge so you don't go off the road. So all these things are formulating plans of action. That creates lag time. I have to find my plan, find what I'm going to do, decide what I'm going to do, and then enact it. And when I'm enacting and I'm acting, I'm in my red zone. I'm taking action, I'm implementing one of my plans. Your yellow and orange zone is kind of your plan organizing, developing plans, seeing which one kind of works, not giving yourself too many. I mean, if I'm looking at 50,000 options, my lag time is going to be huge because I have to go through each one. That won't work. Okay, that one won't work. That one's not too bad, but it's not the best. Well, that one won't work. So you don't want to have 15 or 20 options. You want to have one or two good options. In SWAT or emergency services where you're going in to assault a room, there's what's called an immediate action plan. And that's your plan that if shit hits the fan right now while we're planning and this dude starts shooting hostages, what is our plan to get in that door? And we kind of put all things at risk. We say, okay, we want 2 people here, 2 people there. We formulated an immediate action plan to where we immediately assault the vehicle or the car or the house or the garage, whatever we're going after. So that immediate action plan is not normally the best plan. It's a quick thing that if we have to act, we have something in place. Then from there, we go start planning our long-term plan. Where are the windows? Where's the best place to breach? Do we want to go through the back door or front door? Do we want to create a diversion? Do we want somebody throwing a rock through this window because we're coming in over here to get them to look this way when we come in? Do we want a flashbang? Is there hazards? Is there gas? Can we use a flashbang? We start formulating this plan and then we slowly modify it. The more time we have for a plan, the better the plan. The less time we have, the worse the plan. So when you're carrying a gun and you're in your zone, you need to just kind of be aware of the concept. When I'm in my zone, what zone am I in? Am I in my white zone and should I be in my white zone? When you're driving in your car, you should be ready in case somebody cuts you off, in case an animal runs in front of you, in case a fire truck comes by and you have to yield, in case somebody's tailgating you, in case somebody hits you from the rear. Do you have your seatbelt on? Am I changing my channel? Am I looking? You got all these things going on. The last thing you want to do is end up in that black zone, that panic zone. You prevent going to that panic zone by having a plan and not being in your white zone when shit hits a fan or something goes wrong. Okay? I don't know what my time is here. I'm probably long. Hopefully I can upload it. So hopefully that helps on the zones. I'm at 23 minutes. We'll end that there. And buddy, Miss T, you're good boys.